Everybody, I will call to order the Arvada City Council meeting for today, June 3rd, 2025, and I will call upon Councilmember Ambrose to lead us in a moment of silent reflection and the pledge.
Please join me in a moment of silence. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Rush, if you'll do the roll call.
Mayor Simpson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon, Councilmember Ambrose,
Here.
Councilmember Davis,
Here.
Councilmember Pfeiffer, Councilmember Marriott,
Here.
Councilmember Rupert.
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes, I move that we excuse Mayor Pro Tem Mormon and Councilmember Pfeiffer from tonight's meeting.
That passes 5-0. Mayor Pro Tem Mormon and Councilmember Pfeiffer are excused absences. Next, we have the approval of the minutes for May 20th, 2025. Are there any edits or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, those stand approved. Tonight, we have two recognitions. First, I will call upon Councilmember Davis for proclamation for National Gun Violence Awareness Day.
Thank you, Mayor. Will Kia Ruiz, Bradford St. Matthew, members of Moms Demand Action, Team Enough, and Brady United, please step forward to accept the proclamation, and any of our members of the A West with Team Enough also stand or come to the podium. Thank you. So, whereas every day 125 people in the United States are killed by gun violence, and more than 260 are shot and wounded, with an average of more than 19,000 gun homicides every year, and people in the United States are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. And whereas Colorado has 977 gun deaths every year, with a rate of 16.2 deaths per 100,000 people, a crisis that costs the state $11.7 billion each year, of which $156.1 million is paid by taxpayers. Colorado has the 21st highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S., and gun homicides and assaults are concentrated in cities, with more than half of all gun homicides in the nation occurring in 42 cities. And whereas cities across the nation, including Arvada, are working to end the senseless violence with evidence-based solutions, support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from those who are a danger to themselves or others. And whereas in January 2013, Hadia Pendleton was tragically shot and killed at age 15, and on June 6, 2025, to recognize the 28th birthday of Hadia Pendleton, born June 2nd, 1997. People across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute to Hadia Pendleton and other victims of gun violence and the loved ones of those victims. And whereas the idea of inspired by a group of Hadia's friends who asked her classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange, they chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods, and orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 6th, the first Friday in June 2025, to help raise awareness about gun violence, and by wearing orange on June 6, 2025, people across the United States will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. We renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the hands of people who should not have access to them, and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our families and communities safe. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and Council of the City of Arvada, Colorado, that June 6, 2025 be designated National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and we encourage all citizens to support local efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives, dated the 3rd day of June 2025.
Thank you.
We'll do a quick photo, and then we'll invite you to make some remarks.
Thank you very much. I'm Bradford St. Matthew. I do a lot of volunteer work with Moms to Men Action, Giffords Gunners for Safety, and Colorado Ceasefire. And I'd like to thank Arvada City Council, Mayor Simpson, and the City Clerk's Office, and representatives from gun violence prevention groups for coming together as a community to recognize the first Friday in June as National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And in doing so, we honor the lives of victims and also survivors of gun violence, and we send a very strong message that we must continue to address this public health crisis with urgency and compassion. By coming together as a community, we show our commitment to raising awareness, supporting those affected, and advocating for change. Let's remember that every life lost or impacted by gun violence represents a call to action. And today, we not only honor those we've lost, but also reaffirm our dedication to working toward a future free from gun violence. So thank you for your support and for standing with us today. And if anybody here is interested in joining or supporting our efforts, we have representatives here who would love to talk to you more about how to get involved. And I'd like to introduce Kira Ruiz, our Be Smart team lead for Jefferson County.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. We stand before you representing a range of organizations working to end gun violence in our country and from experiences with various proximities with violent events. One commonality we all have is under the banner of Be Smart for Kids, that works for the healthier outcomes for communities while knowing all families have a right to protect themselves in manners that they best see fit. We educate about safe and secure gun storage of firearms, whether you're in your home, workplace, or a vehicle, especially now that we're in summer and kids are out of school and they're around these instruments a little bit more. Securing firearms separate from ammunition is the general rule, and we urge you to use the best storage you can afford, from gun locks to biometric safes, or storing off-site depending on your needs. We have free gun locks for you, as well as our public high schools have them in Jeffco. The Be Smart message is simple, with asking adults to follow the acronym SMART, or SMART. S is for securing your firearms, securely storing your firearms. M is for modeling the most vigilant, safe storage behavior you can. A, which is really key in our program, is asking others about the presence of firearms in your home, wherever your kids are around, so you can make the best informed decision if you want your kids there or not based on your family's values. The R is recognizing the role of firearms in suicide, and T stands for telling everyone you know about this nonpartisan program. We provide materials for people, presentations that we can do for your city staff, volunteers, residents, and we also have those gun locks like I mentioned. So if you would like any of that, I have this available, and I can make myself available for you as well. And so from the incident recently with the Airbnb shooting in Highland Place, that was the last meeting, we had a lot of people here, to the violence that has cost us law enforcement in recent years, gun violence is on the minds of the residents in our city. We can offer you tools to support our community in line with the information that will be going home to all families in our state's public schools starting on January 1st with the recent passage of the state's gun violence prevention and parents of students law. Thank you for the proclamation and your time to listen to me today about this message with safe and secure storage to make all of our lives healthier here in this community. We are Be Smart for Kids and other aligned gun violence prevention organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I will call upon Councilmember Rupert for the proclamation for Pride Month.
Thank you. The City Council will designate June 2025 as Pride Month. I understand V. Durand and other representatives are here to accept this, so if you'll make your way forward while I read this. Whereas the City of Arvada is a community that values diversity, equity, and inclusion, and believes that all people, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, should be treated with dignity and respect. And whereas June is nationally recognized as LGBTQ+ Pride Month, as an opportunity to celebrate the history, culture, and contributions of LGBTQ+ individuals, and to affirm our commitment to fostering an inclusive, welcoming, and safe environment for all. And whereas the Apex Park and Recreation District has demonstrated leadership and commitment to supporting the LGBTQ+ community through inclusive programming, community education, and the hosting of joyful, affirming pride events in Arvada. And whereas the City of Arvada applauds and honors organizations like Apex Park and Recreation District, who foster a sense of belonging and visibility for LGBTQ+ residents and help create a stronger, more unified community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mayor and the Arvada City Council hereby designate June 2025 as Pride Month in the City of Arvada and commends the Apex Park and Recreation District for their exemplary work in organizing Pride events and promoting a stronger, more united community where all people are welcomed and valued.
Please. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is V. Duran, and I am a Recreation Coordinator at Apex, and I oversee our Pride programming. On behalf of Apex, I want to thank you for this meaningful proclamation and for recognizing the importance of Pride Month in our community. At Apex, we believe parks and recreation should reflect the diversity of the people that we serve, and that includes our LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to create spaces that are not only fun and active, but are also inclusive and affirming for everyone, improving the lives of our residents physically, emotionally, and socially. Our journey began in 2019 with our first Pride Night, a safe, inclusive celebration where participants are encouraged to step outside their comfort zones and join peers in an engaging environment. This event is hosted at our Seacrest Recreation Center, also known as the Teen Center. Since then, Pride Nights have grown into one of our most beloved monthly traditions, featuring music, games, resources, a little karaoke, and a sense of community for teens in attendance and all identities. In 2023, we introduced Pride Prom, a special evening created for LGBTQ+ teens and allies to celebrate themselves in an environment where they feel seen, valued, and supported. The City of Arvada has been a huge support from the beginning, helping to fund Pride Prom and making it possible for us to offer this meaningful experience to so many young people. The community response was overwhelming. Heartfelt messages from participants and families remind us why this work matters so deeply. In 2021, we were honored to receive the Columbine Award for programming from the Colorado Parks and Recreation Association, recognizing the innovation and impact of our Pride initiatives. But really, the true reward is seeing our community come together, people laughing, dancing, connecting, sometimes for the first time in space where they feel completely safe and welcomed. We're excited to continue growing our Pride programming and deepening our partnerships throughout the city. Thank you again for this recognition, and it affirms that what we're doing matters and that Arvada is a place where everyone belongs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have no presentations this evening, so we will move into the public comment for issues. Oh. We get presents.
always come with presents.
Oh.
So sorry.
Ms. Morris, are we allowed to accept these? You're good. Thank you very, very much to our friends from Apex. Just so the audience gets to know, with us, we get a cup, we get some Skittles, which my almost 9-year-old will be very excited about. Thank you. Some beads, a flag, and a shirt. Yay. Thank you very much. All right, next we have public comment for issues not scheduled on the agenda. I hope all of you come bearing presents as well. Kidding. All right, with that, we have Anthony Super. And I will just go ahead and give a quick rundown on the rules, since we have a large group of people tonight. So just as a heads up, this is your opportunity to address the council. We do not address you back. So if you have a question or a request, make sure your information is logged with Ms. Resch, who is our city clerk, and somebody, either it's one of us or a member of the team, will get back to you. We also always ask for you to maintain decorum in the chambers. Different people have different opinions on topics, and that is how democracy works. It's good. We want you here. We want you sharing your opinions with us. But with that, we always ask that you maintain the decorum, so no applause and no booing, because we don't want anyone to feel like they shouldn't be up there being able to say what it is that they want to say to their elected representatives. We also always ask that you give your name and address for the public record. However, if you're uncomfortable with that, you can suggest your town neighborhood or the city you live in at large, just whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So with that, Mr. Super, come on up. Oh, Ms. Ambrose.
Mayor, if I could make a recommendation, if everybody could squeeze in.
Yes.
We have like 4 folks who are trying to sit, somebody with their arm in a sling, and it would be great if we
Yep.
had
And
seats for
we're
everybody.
not kicking you out, Apex.
Oh, I'm not saying leave. They're like, I'm like, squeeze in. They're like, no.
Apex decided to bolt.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilmember Ambrose. That's very thoughtful. And yes, we always want to make sure everyone's comfortable. Mr. Bradley. All right. Mr. Super, whenever you're ready.
Hello, Arvada City Council. My name is Anthony Super. I live at 64th and Sheridan, and I'm here with Yimby Arvada. For those unaware, in 2024, the state passed several housing reform bills. Last month, I and a few others asked the city to comply with them. The city decided to join a lawsuit against the state to avoid complying with them instead. I am here to urge the city to reconsider and, frankly, to express my confusion. I do not understand the point of this lawsuit. I don't understand it so much that I, along with Yimby Arvada, made a website, what'sthepointarvada.com, to express our confusion. I briefly want to go over a couple points why. The first question, of course, is what do these laws do? Mayor Simpson said in a Facebook post that they would allow low-income neighborhoods to be, quote, raised for high-rises with nothing we can do about it, end quote. So do these laws invite the Visigoths in to burn down Arlington Meadows like they did Rome? No. They simply say that you shouldn't force people to build a ton of parking if they're building housing right next to a train station, and that you should zone some areas around train stations for higher density. On the last one, the city gets to pick where they rezone. So if they think that rezoning an area near the Gold Strike station, my neighborhood, would be inappropriate, they can do it elsewhere. Sounds pretty reasonable to me. One of the reasons why these laws are so reasonable is that they're based on Arvada laws. According to Mayor Simpson in another Facebook comment, these laws, quote, draw heavy inspiration by work Arvada has already done, end quote. In one case, by her estimate, quote, we're about 90% compliant already because we started out way in front of the state, end quote. So the laws do reasonable things. They're based on laws our city pioneered, and we're almost compliant already. And we're spending the time and money to join a lawsuit. But, maybe the laws would just change Arvada too much. They apply to too much land, too much of a good thing, right? Well, as I said before, most of these laws only apply to areas that are near transit. So I got online and I downloaded the official Arvada shape files, which is like a map file, for what counts as Arvada, and the state's official map files for what counts as a transit area. And then I used the geospatial database to figure out what percent of our city is in a transit area. It is less than 6%. And it is pretty much entirely centered around the Gold Strike, Old Town Arvada, and Kipling stations. So why are we spending the time and money to join this lawsuit? Don't we have more important things to focus on? What's the point, Arvada.com? I urge the city council to drop this lawsuit. I also urge everyone here to visit that website, once again, what'sthepointarvada.com, and sign a petition so that you can also urge them to do so. Our city has more important things to deal with. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Karen De Hueto.
it's not as exciting.
We'll still accept presents.
My name is Karen Deoweto. I live at 4816 West 61st Place. Council members and community members, thank you for being here today. I stand before you to urge your continued participation in the lawsuit challenging House Bills 24-1313 and 24-1304, legislation that strips away our fundamental home rule rights and threatens community-driven governance. This isn't about stopping progress. This is about whether we, as Arvadans, retain the right to have meaningful conversations about our community's future, or whether we'll be forced to accept one-size-fits-all mandates from state legislators who may never have walked our neighborhoods. We don't need to look far to understand why local control matters. Right here in Arvada, Arlington Meadows showed us what happens when top-down decisions are made without genuine community engagement. Even at the local level, where our elected officials live among us, when community voices are excluded, we end up with major backtracking, project reconsiderations, and fractured trust. If that can happen here, with local officials accountable to us directly, imagine what happens when solutions are imposed from the state capitol. We'll end up with cookie-cutter approaches that make no sense for our community. Would the same development solution work in Colorado Springs, Denver, and Boulder? Absolutely not. Each city has distinct challenges, different infrastructure, and communities with their own values. These bills represent exactly the type of top-down governance that Home Rule was designed to prevent. These mandates don't just take away administrative control, they take away our voice. While they promote access to transportation and could add more affordable housing, these benefits aren't guaranteed, and the mandates eliminate the community conversations that turn housing developments into real neighborhoods. Let me be clear. This lawsuit is not about opposing development or ignoring housing challenges. This is about saying yes. Yes to maintaining our authority to engage our community in real dialogue, yes to developing solutions that fit our neighborhoods, and yes to the principle that effective governance happens closest to the people it serves. We can balance growth with community character through careful planning and collaborative problem solving. These bills threaten to replace our local processes with bureaucratic mandates from legislators who don't live here, don't shop here, and don't send their kids to school here. This lawsuit we've joined with 5 other municipalities isn't about obstructing progress. It's about preserving our right to pursue progress in ways that reflect our Arvadan values. It's about ensuring that when decisions are made about our neighborhoods, our residents have a seat at the table, not just a chance to comment after the fact. Participation in this lawsuit sends a clear message that Arvada stands with its residents. It says we value community engagement over bureaucratic convenience and that we don't allow state government to override the voices of people who actually live in these neighborhoods. Please continue to fight for every Colorado community that believes its residents deserve genuine collaboration and meaningful engagement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Gina Hallisey.
Gina Hallisey. I live in Maple Valley. I support the City of Arvada in its decision to join with other cities in the lawsuit to challenge Colorado House Bill 1313 and House Bill 24-1304. Our locally elected city council, with input from citizens, should be making decisions on land use in our backyards, not the state of Colorado. Arvada in and of itself has very different development issues based on the location in the city. Old Town and East Arvada, which is more developed, have different challenges than West Arvada, that is more rural and has more infill and vacant land. I strongly oppose land decisions being made based on ideology. High-density housing and mass transit can fit in some areas and not in other areas just based on infrastructure. At what cost do Arvadans have to pay for the state's or even our own council's ideology around high-density housing? Someone has to pay for improving roads, transit, water, utilities, etc. to enact these laws, and I highly doubt it will be all on the developer. The citizens ultimately pay the cost and should have a say in what our community looks like. House Bill 1313 removes local input. Some people in this room could be considered YIMBYs. Always a yes to high-density housing under the guise of it being affordable. But is it really affordable when you look at all the associated costs to the infrastructure needed that comes with this type of density? Other people in this room could be considered NIMBYs. Always a no to anything they don't want in their backyard, unless it's parks or open space, of course. That's just not realistic. I consider myself and many of my neighbors and members of the Ralston Valley Coalition as SIMBYs. I'm creating a new term, but with a C. CIMBY, which stands for compatibility in my backyard. We're not against development and also not against affordable housing, but we're against allowing development in areas where it is not compatible with the surrounding community just because of ideology. The state should not be dictating what happens in Arvada. Does affordable housing all need to be in one big development? Why can't we require each development to have some percentage of affordable housing rather than lumping it all into one location near a transit station? I think that it is more equitable and fair to all to do it that way. The citizens of Arvada, your constituents who elected you into office, are counting on you to do the right thing for their neighborhoods, and that means looking at every development project locally and making decisions that benefit all of us, not just one group. To wrap up, I support fighting for our city charters, home rule. If you give in on this, the state will continue to rob Arvada's authority to govern. We should be no to YIMBY, no to NIMBY, and yes to SIMBY in Arvada. Compatibility should be something we can all agree on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Claudia Mueller. I apologize if I mispronounced the last name.
It's molar, like the tooth.
Got it.
Hi, I'm Claudia Moeller. I'm in Homestead Park neighborhood, and I'm here to voice my support for easing house building restrictions, especially when it would also ease traffic congestion and enhance the community. I would love it if Old Town could actually house some of the people that it employs, and to me, pushing the workers of a town out in favor of those that they serve is what truly does damage to a community. Seems that the state of Colorado agrees, and it's a state that's struggling a ton with the housing crisis and is nowhere near the forefront of the fight to build more housing and more affordable housing. I would love to fight for home rule when Colorado is imposing something on us that we're not basically already doing anyway, and that would help the community anyway. I think that's a fight we can fight another week, another time, but this isn't really something we should put our money and time into. And if Arvada is going to fight on this very reasonable, small regulation that affects 6% of the landmass, and we're already doing most of it anyway, how do we imagine fighting the housing crisis if this is too unreasonable for us? People of Arvada, people of Colorado are constantly saying that traffic and homelessness is one of their top issues, and a basic solution that's presented right to us, and we're fighting against it. That's all.
Thank you. Next, we have Nathan Sloat.
Hi, my name is Nathan Sloat. I live at 8405 Clarabelle Drive, 2 doors down from John. When my wife and I were moving to Arvada about 2 years ago, we were really interested in being by Old Town, being by the transit center, being able to walk to the light rail station, being able to walk to the restaurants and shops in Old Town, even be able to walk to the city council meeting this afternoon. And frankly, the cost of doing that is really high. Every year we pay $32,000 a year in rent for a house that no one's probably going to consider extravagant. And frankly, that's not affordable. And I think probably for most of the folks here that that's not realistic. And so that context, I was really disappointed to hear about the recent lawsuit against the state legislation looking to address some of these housing concerns through parking reforms. Frankly, I understand the concerns about home rule, and so I think as a city, we can make some decisions ourselves and follow the example set by Denver, Boulder, Longmont, all of whom have either removed parking minimums altogether or are strongly considering doing that in the next few months. That's a decision we can make. We don't need the state to come in and bug us to do that, and it's something we can do here ourselves. I know getting rid of these parking minimums isn't going to be a cure-all that's going to magically fix our problems tomorrow, but it also isn't going to make the sky fall. I think Longmont is still there. Last I checked, I think we'll be okay in that regard. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to our comments, and hopefully you can readdress this lawsuit and maybe look at other options. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Ed Tomlinson.
Would you mind if Gigi goes first?
Absolutely. Gigi, please.
Let me know when you're ready.
The music.
Someone to stop. Good evening, council members.
Louder.
Good evening, council members.
Louder.
I am honored to introduce someone whose legacy is deeply connected
They can't hear you.
to one of Arvada's most beloved traditions, Ed Tomlinson, the 2025 chair of Arvada Harvest Festival Parade. Back in the 1970s, Ed transformed our local parade into the largest community parade in Colorado. With 427 entries and a full 3-hour production to ensure it met a high standard, he brought in producers of Denver's St. Patrick's Day Parade to serve as judges. Then around 2010, Ed returned and took it to national prominence. That year, the parade featured over 3,000 participants, 20,000 spectators, 32 MCs, 16 reviewing stands, and 27 marching bands. It was hailed as the best community parade between Los Angeles and Chicago. Ed also authored community parades and has served on panels alongside organizers from the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the Tournament of Roses. He even brought us the iconic 40-foot parade banner still used today. But this year, Ed's focus is not size or prestige, it's connection. He wants this to be the most engaging community parade in the state, one where spectators become participants, where every entry brings joy, surprise, and pride to the city we love. To support that vision, he is seeking volunteers who can spend just about an hour helping to scout the best parade of ideas from across Colorado. Those interested can email him at edctomlinson@gmail.com. Please subscribe to the Arvada Press. They have offered to print a series of Ed Parade's insights, like how to make a one-car entry stunning. We appreciate the opportunity to appear before you tonight, and we ask for your continued support, because parades like this reflect the best of Arvada. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Tomlinson, should we begin your 3 minutes?
I can't hear her.
Should we begin?
Okay. Well, wait. We should start with.
Okay.
Do you mind? No.
Just not directly into the microphone, please.
Thank you, Gigi. Now I'd like to introduce Gigi. Gigi is the co-chair of this year's Arvada Harvest Festival Parade, and I want to tell you why that matters. Gigi is not just a real estate agent. She's a...
Yeah, you can say that.
You sure? You sure?
I just didn't want him to say it.
She edited a whole lot of this out. And Gigi is not just a real estate agent. She's a professional supermodel. You may have seen her on billboards, and ladies' magazines, but what impresses me most is her heart. She joined this committee not for recognition, but to learn how to create a community parade of her own next year. That is rare. She is smart, dedicated, absolutely committed to giving back. and I could not be prouder to work with her, beside her for the last 2 years. We both hope this year's parade will become a new standard in the community engagement. And with the council's continued support, we believe we can make it something truly unforgettable. We're meeting with Arvada Fire in about a week, and we think we can, as you know, they usually have a fire truck leading the parade. We have so much more ideas as to what they can do to enhance not only the fire department, but also the community. All of our entries, what we're trying to do is engage the public, the spectators, and the spectators engage with them. Most parades have 2 or 3, 4 excellent entries. We want almost everyone to be memorable. And again, I would like to suggest you I'm losing the word here, for the Arvada Press. They will be producing or printing a series of my insights on parades. And I would appreciate it if you really want to know about the inside of a parade or down the road might want to, including how to make a single car outstanding and memorable in the parade. So that's what we're doing, and that's where we're heading. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hit it. One more. We got 18 seconds. Hit it.
Next time.
I'll be back every 2 weeks.
Very nice. Next, we have Mike Rawlick. I don't know how you follow that.
I don't know.
Interpretive dance.
Ooh, or
No, I
presents.
can talk about my favorite fast food, maybe. That's about it.
What-
I heard that the other day.
Yeah, we did do favorite fast foods the other day. What is yours? I won't put that in your 3 minutes.
I would say Chipotle. Yeah, it was
Chipotle.
a staple back in California.
You know, it's originally from Colorado.
Really?
It is.
Wow.
It was founded in Denver.
All right. Well,
All right.
we still have In-N-Out Burger, though.
All right, with that, your 3 minutes begin.
All right. Thanks, Council. Oh, I thought I had to say my name and all that first, or? Okay.
Please.
Mike Rawlick, 18735 West 59 Drive, Golden, Colorado, 80403. On behalf of Ralston Valley Coalition, we are here to support the lawsuit against HB 1313 and HB 1304. Local governance is best. We've been before you many times. We've had agreements and disagreements, but the idea is we can meet with you. I've tried to meet with Paulus or Primavera, can't get a meeting at all. The higher up in the hierarchy you go, the less chance a local citizen actually has to make a difference at all. If density is right, you'll know where to put it. If density for a lower type is correct as well, you also know where it should go. When we look at the home rule itself, it extends to all local and municipal matters. Such charter and the ordinances made pursuant thereto, such matters shall supersede within the territorial limits and other jurisdictions of said city or town any law of the state in conflict therewith. So that's a big deal too. When you look at that home rule, you actually can supersede state law. So maybe the lawsuit's not even necessary. You can just do what you needed to do. But it's nice to get the courts to hear this type of thing. When we look at the fact that we heard 6%, maybe 6% of the land will be affected, that's currently. If you look at the DOLA maps that actually talk about where the TODs and TOCs could be and the future of them could be as well, there's more than 6%. When I did the math on how much acreage you have in a half-mile circle around said TOD, it's about 500 acres. 500 acres times 15 to 40 dwelling units per acre, that's huge. When we talk about water, let's think about local governance versus bureaucracy. If you guys come up with a water plan and say we only have water for this many citizens, say 150,000, but maybe 200,000 would have to be because of the density. You have to bring that plan to DOLA, and the executive board can decide if you're right or wrong. How's that? That makes no sense at all. When we look at the Colorado Mountain Rail, the Colorado Mountain Rail is now being called a commuter rail. Commuter rail has no scheduled service restrictions or requirements in HB 1313 at all. So that means as soon as a rail station goes in, you get 500 acres that you have to rezone up by Indiana and the, 80th in that area. So that's a whole lot there too you want to think about. And then also 1304, when we talk about parking, what's never considered is there are places where transit doesn't go, or maybe times that it's unsafe to be on there. If you're working 2 jobs, if you have tools in your truck or whatever, you might be parked 7 blocks down the street to great risk of yourself walking home. So I really appreciate you guys looking at 1313 and 1304 lawsuit. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Hallisey, I have 2 sign-up sheets for you. Did you just want to go once, or did you want one for the 5-minute as well? Maybe somebody signed me up. Okay, no worries then. I'll save that one for later in case. Do you want to reserve that one for the 5-minute? Okay. Next, we have Mr. Tony Rawlick. And a quick note, Ms. Hallisey, for the 5-minute, it will need to be on a separate topic if you so choose.
Okay, Tony Rawlick, proud father of Mike, who's a hard act to follow. But 6070 Virgil Street, Arvada. Right. One of the things I was thinking about is, remember when you were young and you were asking a question about something, and there was this adult in power who said, "Because I said so." And that was it, and you were cut off. I see that's what the state is doing to us now. When I come here, I can address this group. I get to vote for people. I got support. Had signs in my yard supporting. If I disagree with decisions over a long period of time, I can support somebody else. However, with the state, it's a different story. HR 1313 says that it's not you. I can't talk to anybody. There is a state-empowered bureaucrat that's going to make a decision on a map in an area possibly he's never been to, doesn't know the problems. However, this is it, because we said so. Takes away all of my rights. Feel like it disenfranchises me as a city resident to take part in decision making. So I definitely support the suits against this. Home rule is important, and what the state is doing to me is just disenfranchising people, and it's really bad news. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Mindy Moore.
Good evening. Mindy Moore. I actually live in have lived in the West 64th sub-area, which you had a study session on earlier this evening. I've lived in Arvada since the 1990s, raised my 2 daughters here, and that's just a wonderful, diverse area to live. We walk to the local shops, having a business, apartments, million-dollar homes, all in the same area is really, really wonderful to have such diversity. Go to Dairy Queen too many times to count walking. But I wanted to thank you for your thoughtful comments during the study session earlier this evening. I really appreciated the questions that you asked. Many times I've stood before you commending you on your work to enhance the lives of your residents. Recently, you've made thoughtful and hard decisions, for example, to improve our water and sewer infrastructure so that it lasts for future generations. Thank you. You just put out another wonderful Arvada report with many informative articles about a wide range of issues that will matter to residents. Thank you. Our city's made great progress in helping create more affordable housing in eastern Arvada and has started transitional or bridge housing to help people move back into permanent homes. Thank you. Now our city has another opportunity to step up and show the Arvada way. At last Thursday's Jeffco Forum on Homelessness, we heard about the big impact that county-wide coordination during severe weather has had on saving lives and saving money, like emergency room visits. The last few years, Jeffco has also stepped up in many areas, and this includes purchasing heavy-duty FEMA-type shelters, mobile shelters that can be used during all types of disasters, and getting a contractor to deploy those. They're looking at extreme weather. But even though the county asked all the cities a year ago to suggest locations for deployment, no city has offered a location in North Jeffco. Arvada has only stated that we want cold and severe weather shelter that's not in Old Town. You commend Mission Arvada, but apparently haven't supported them for this past winter's work, and you don't support that location for services. Well, that's agreed to by virtually everybody. But if not there, where? I sincerely hope that you can quickly offer a temporary location for one of these Jeffco mobile shelters on city-owned, secure property, perhaps on a parking lot within walking distance from some public transit, or even the Marshall and 51st site that you purchased for a navigation center. We all know that in Colorado, this winter is just around the corner. Thank you for all your service to our city, and I pray for your commitment to do this.
Thank you. Next, we have Alex Prey.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Alex Prey. I live at 6330 Reed Street in Arvada. I am here to speak in support of taking incremental steps to removing parking minimums for multi-unit properties in our high-frequency transit corridors. Policies like this have been spoken about as if they are some radical mandate that will change the fabric of our community. As far as I can tell, I came up with a slightly different number, but House Bill 1304 would affect less than 5% of the city when you actually look at multifamily and multi-use zoning. This is also isolated almost exclusively to the Wadsworth and Ralston corridors. As you're well aware, these corridors are mostly developed. Any new multi-unit properties in these areas would be infill or redevelopment. Cities all over the country are removing parking minimums completely for all development, commercial, residential, and multi-unit, because it's a practical realization that mandatory parking hurts businesses, stalls housing developments, and adds unnecessary costs to small projects. And these aren't in the progressive bastions you may think of. This is La Crosse, Wisconsin. This is Duluth, Minnesota, Lexington, Kentucky, Jackson, Tennessee. Even just last month, Dallas voted to lift minimums in their downtown transit corridors in addition to for small businesses and most residential construction. House Bill 1304 is looking for a fraction of this step that these cities have already taken. So why does this matter? Because parking mandates increase the cost of housing, especially multi-unit housing, limiting the kind of developments that can be built. Each parking stall can cost between $10,000 and $40,000 to a project. When we force developers to make more parking than market demands, we're effectively mandating more expensive housing. Removing these mandates, especially in walkable transit-rich areas, opens the door for more naturally occurring affordable housing, something that this council has spoken many times about. Small buildings, fewer stalls, and more efficient land use makes it possible for lower rents and home prices without sacrificing quality or requiring subsidies. This doesn't mean we'll stop building parking, doesn't mean we'll stop requiring it, but it does mean we'll stop requiring it blindly. Property owners will still include parking where it makes sense, but they won't be forced to overbuild it. If we want to support affordable, sustainable, and vibrant neighborhoods, removing parking minimums in transit corridors is a smart, low-cost, and proven strategy. I urge you to support this by removing parking minimums from multi-unit developments in these areas at a bare minimum. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mike Schweitzer.
Good evening, Mayor Simpson and City Council. My name is Mike Schweitzer. We live at 64th in Indiana. I'm here to talk about and appreciate your support for the lawsuit against HB 1313. There are several factors that HB 241313 were sold at the Colorado State House last year. Current census data indicates 1313 is not in sync with information regarding population and housing trends in our state. The publication Common Sense Institute released a report in February of 24 entitled Colorado Population is Rising Only at a Fraction of Its Former Glory. That report found in the U.S. Census that in 2013, Colorado captured 1 in 12 people who moved to a new state, just under 10%. In 2023, that dropped to 1 in 120 people, just less than 1%. In 2022, since 2022, more people have left Colorado for other states than have arrived here from other states. A document from the Colorado State Demographer, also in February 24, shows that the development is outpacing demand. There's a surplus of housing in certain areas, not in all, but in certain areas of the metro regions. The state report shows the same slowdown in population growth. HB 1313 may include verbiage to include affordable housing, but that's not the focus of that bill. While some call attention to this area of the bill, affordable units would be only a small percentage of the total number. For a development to be financially lucrative, a majority of the units have to be at current market rate. HB 13 does not solve the affordable housing issue. The real crisis is affordable housing. Colorado has an affordable housing and growth management crisis. We appreciate that Arvada is working on affordable housing already with several projects. Among them, Ralston Gardens, a 102-unit affordable development restricted to households with income less than 30% of area median income. The Griffith Station development, the Arvada Housing Authority donated land to Habitat for Humanities for this development. Arvada included a community development block grant to pay for the water tap fees for this development. We appreciate that. Arvada businesses, neighborhoods, land space does not need to be managed by a state mandate regulated like 1313. Another item needs to be addressed is HB 13 is against the Colorado Constitution. Under Article 20, Section 6 of the Colorado Constitution, the section grants cities and towns with a population of 2,000 or more the power to create, amend, and replace their own charters, which become their organic law for local and municipal matters. This directly relates to land use and zoning. The state cannot grant itself jurisdiction over the city. The Home Rule supports that Arvada and other cities in the suit Arvada has joined have more detailed organization.
Mr. Time has expired, but I'm going to give you 1 second to go and wrap your thought, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much wrapped it up. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Next, we have Harrison Wilterdink.
My name's Harrison Wilterdink. I'm a lead with EMB Arvada. I live at 8430 Clarabelle Drive near Grandview Avenue, just down the street from Councilmember Marriott in District 3. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak on what is a popular topic tonight. I'm happy to be part of the local conversation about compatibility of these laws in Arvada, because I want to express my disappointment in learning that Arvada is suing the state of Colorado over new laws that would make it easier to build homes near our G-Line train stations and our bus routes, mostly along Wadsworth Avenue and Ralston Road. The locations affected by these laws include my very own neighborhood and very likely my own home, and I think they're a good thing for our community, and I want to tell you why. It will come as a surprise to no one in this room that housing these days is expensive. According to our own 2023 housing needs assessment, Arvada's median home sales price is out of reach for workers earning a median wage in all industries, even if with 1.5 earners per household, and fewer than half of our industries provide a median wage that could support the median rent in Arvada. As to why, the city's very own summary makes it clear that lack of housing supply is a big factor. Quote, Arvada's woefully lacking in a diversity of home types that could produce natural affordability, as well as an adequate supply of rental units for those who can't afford to purchase a home or don't want to purchase a home. What does this mean in simpler language? When there aren't a lot of homes to go around, competition drives up prices. When prices go up, people with less money almost always lose the bidding wars. As a city, we can and should make it easier to build new homes so that everyone has opportunities to live where they want affordably, whether they're a couple raising a family, a young adult finding their own place to live, or an older adult looking to downsize. The laws that Arvada is fighting would give home builders the flexibility they need to create those kinds of opportunities for our residents here in Arvada. I'll give 2 specific examples of the kind of flexibility I'm talking about. For one example, the law gives flexibility to build a wider variety of homes that are generally more affordable, from townhomes to duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. We know that these housing types are some that many people would welcome in their own neighborhoods, because when asked directly as part of our 2019 Arvada Community Survey, over 46% of people in my council district and over 56% of people in neighboring District 2 said directly that these things were appropriate in their own neighborhoods. And yet the frustrating reality is that these are housing types which currently cannot be built at all in about 80% of the city and cannot be built by right in the majority of the land around our transit centers. For another example, the laws give flexibility to build homes without wasting space on unnecessary parking. In my immediate neighborhood alone, we have at least 100 on-street parking spaces that go unused at most hours of the day. The city and its residents benefit very little from that wastage. No plants grow here. The pavement just soaks up the sun and heats the air around us and generates large amounts of water runoff during rainstorms. Having the flexibility to make better use of existing parking spaces while welcoming in new neighbors is a win-win. I appreciate your time and letting me be part of the local conversation.
Thank you. Next, we have Karen Gerbach.
Good evening. Karen Gerbach, 6872 Juniper Court here in Arvada. I'm sorry. Karen Gerbach, 6872 Juniper Court in Arvada. I'm here to speak on behalf of Friends of Ralston Creek Neighborhoods, which is a small not-profit. We support Arvada in its lawsuit against the state of Colorado, which is challenging the constitutionality of recent affordable housing legislation. Home rule is important to continue local governance. If the objective is more housing, dense housing does not necessarily mean affordable housing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And finally, we have Alma Carrillo.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Alma Carrillo. I'm here on behalf of the Office of Congresswoman Pedersen. Just really quickly want to highlight a couple events that we're having this summer to the community. So our first is a Vietnam Veterans Pinning Ceremony. We would like to recognize and honor veterans who served in the Vietnam War. So if you know anybody that hasn't been recognized, please refer them over to our office. We'll be holding a ceremony, but if they don't want to participate in a ceremony but still want to get a pin, we are more than happy to provide that for them. The second event is we are hosting a job fair later this summer. It's open to everyone in the district, but we specifically would encourage federal employees who have been laid off to attend. So please keep an eye out on our newsletter, which you can sign up for on pedersen.house.gov for those dates, times, and locations once they're released. As well, if you have any issues with the federal agency like IRS, Social Security, passports, please reach out to our office. We are very proud to announce that we have saved $4 million for our constituents this year. So please reach out and we will try and help as much as we can. And our phone number is 303-274-7944. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That concludes the sign-ups that I have for this portion of the public comment for the 3-minute. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? All right, ma'am, we'll take you, and then, sir, we'll have you up. And we'll request your name and address for the public record.
Hello, Natalie Menton, and I actually live in Lakewood. But I drove up here because I felt it was very important to share with you my support, my thanks, my appreciation, recognition of the stance the Arvada City Council has taken in position to the polis mandates, which I won't use the word affordable. It's really about density, and density does not necessarily make that affordable. I wish my city council was taking a position such as Arvada has, but they haven't yet. And they're going through a comprehensive plan which adds some complications to it. But I can say this, having been active in the community for a lot of years and involved with the legislation on this housing going back to Senate Bill 213. And I was at the Capitol that night when it died at, 9 o'clock at night. Came to a surprise to me. I was very concerned it would pass. But such a big package of mandates down from the state. But then, and think back now to the meetings that were being held at that time within the Denver metro area specifically, and the outrage from the citizens that the governor was going to hand down this huge package. Well, the state legislature, doing what they do sometimes, realized they lost on the big package and turned around and broke it into small pieces. And people got tired. They didn't show up. They didn't show their outrage. And I just bring this up now because in my area, Lakewood, I can't tell you the number of people that have reached out to me wanting to know how they get involved to support this lawsuit. So I have Lakewood residents wanting an answer. So I'm coming up here to share that with you. Maybe we don't live in your city, but we appreciate what you've done, and we want to see a similar action in our area. And there is a drive for it. Most citizens aren't paying attention to this right now. They're just starting to talk about it a little bit really on Nextdoor. And the more that people become aware, the more they will join and oppose this top-heavy mandate handed down from the state. Thank you. I'm going to leave it at that. I would hand in my little card, but I think you get the picture. Thank you, and thank you for taking my comments from being not actually one of your constituents, but nearby.
No worries. Thank you very much. Also, I will ask you, and also, sir, you can come on up. We have these sign-in forms. I'll just ask that you turn one in each for Ms. Rush, just so she can have it for the documentation. Come on up, sir, as you're ready.
My name is Jim Morgan, and since I've spoken here before, I'm sure you know the detail of my address, so let it suffice to say that I live in the Western Hemisphere. I want to seriously commend the City Council for their decision to join the lawsuit against the state concerning the home rule issue. And that really is, to me, the primary reason for being involved in this lawsuit. I happen to be reading at this time Chernow's Pulitzer Prize winning biography of George Washington. And if you read any material from the founding of this nation, you know that there was a great concern for overreach of a larger government over smaller governments. And that's what we see today. The same issue, the same concern, and the same significance. And so while much can be said about that which prompted the lawsuit, the real issue is home rule and defending home rule. And I encourage you to continue your pursuit with other cities concerning the state. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Please, come on, ma'am. Oh, sorry, Mr. Griffith. She beat you by 2 seconds. You'll get to go next. Come on up, ma'am.
Linda Martin, Seacrest area.
If you could lower the microphone. There you go.
Linda Martin, Seacrest area. I've been in my home 47 years there, and I just want to say the same thing about commendation to the fact that you're pushing back. It's exciting for me to see Arvada City Council really be concerned about us in every area of the city here, where we want not to be 15-minute cities. We like our neighbors, we like our neighborhoods, and I don't know anybody that I know that drives up and down Ralston and approves of hundreds and hundreds of apartments that are being built. I also know if you've priced any of them. Have you been in to see if they're full? They're not. Have you been in to see if they're reasonable? They're not. Have you been in to see if they have any issues about the water? They do. So I can't imagine why the state would think they could take the liberty to force Arvada to start building more of these compact apartment houses. And I'm just so proud of you. I can't tell you how grateful I am as a person that you've taken the authority to push back and begin a lawsuit, which I will say I hope and pray we win, because I think we need to stand against this kind of authority that takes away the freedom and the choices about land use in Arvada. And I am here just solely to say thank you. Please continue to do this. This sounds like courage to me. It sounds like something that you're doing that is going to have some real impact as people see there are leaders in Arvada who are tired of just accepting all of these House bills that come against grandparents and come against schools and come against the hospitals and various things. And I just am so proud of you. And that's what I've come to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffith.
Thank you, Council. Mike Griffith, 6820 West 62nd Avenue. I'll be brief. Thank you so much for your time and having all these folks come out from the community to give you their thoughts and opinions. I mean, you're right, this is democracy. So we have a few minutes here to tell you what's on our mind, and this is what's on mine. I think what we've heard tonight is a lot of really interesting ideas on two sides of one argument about land use. And I would encourage council to consider both sides. So currently we're engaged in a lawsuit, and I think it's personally the right thing to do. But I don't want to miss some of the opportunities that were described by the folks that are troubled by the lawsuit. I think that there are a lot of really good ideas that were stated up here, and I'm fully confident in our staff, and I'm fully confident in our council and our community members to keep showing up to make sure that if we are successful in this lawsuit and we decide that we're going to keep with our home rule status on this particular issue and hold strong, we can still engage with these same problems. We have issues with affordability, we have issues with water, if we're going to have increased density, we have infrastructure challenges. I think all of those can be met with this exact thing that we're seeing. I know I'm not supposed to look at them, but this is perfect, right? We have a council grappling with an issue. We have staff here late in the evening when they've worked all day, and we have a room full of community members voicing their opinions. So I just wanted to encourage you to continue to allow this to happen because this is the way it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will close the public comment for the 3-minute limit and open us up into new business. We have one item on this evening's consent agenda, and that is R25-050, a resolution authorizing an employment agreement between the City of Arvada and Michelle Prince Bowen, appointing her as municipal court relief judge for 2025. Councilmember Davis.
Is there any discussion, or I'd like to make the motion? I move that R25-050 resolution authorizing an employment agreement between the City of Arvada and Michelle Prince Bowen, appointing her as municipal court judge, municipal court relief judge for 2025 be approved.
All votes are cast. That passes 5-0 with Councilmember Pfeiffer and Mayor Pro Tim Mormon being excused absences. And quickly, we're going to take a moment to swear in our new judge. I will invite up presiding municipal court judge. Is that the full title? There we go. Katie Kurtz.
Thank you. And we're actually swearing in both of our two new relief judges.
Wonderful.
We approved the
Into the
contract. I apologize. We
Thank you,
approved
Your
the
Honor.
contract on Judge Ivy last meeting, but we're going to swear both of them in tonight, if that works for council. First, I have Judge Prince Bowen. This is Michelle Prince Bowen. She's here tonight. What I'm going to do is please have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Michelle Lynette Prince Bowen.
I, Michelle Lynette Prince Bowen.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And of the State of Colorado.
And of the State of Colorado.
And the Charter and the laws and ordinances.
And the Charter and the laws and ordinances.
Of the City of Arvada.
Of the City of Arvada.
And will faithfully perform the duties.
And will faithfully perform the duties.
Of the office.
Of the office.
Upon which I'm about to enter.
Upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. Just scoot get you together, and then I'll have you sign. I'm going to have you sign all 3 copies. Very good. Thank you. And we'll do a bunch of pictures outside as soon as we're done. Thank you. I'll have you go.
Welcome, Judge Prince Bowen.
And then we're going to swear in Judge Janice Ivy. If she can join me up here.
Welcome, Judge Ivy.
And we'll stand. We'll have the mic in between us.
Okay.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. I, Janice M. Ivy,
I, Janice M. Ivy,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the charter and the laws
and the charter and the laws
and ordinances
of
the city of Arvada,
and
will faithfully perform the duties
of
the office upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm going to have you sign, and then I'll get your robe.
Sure. Thank you.
As council is aware, I'm very excited to have additional relief judges on our staff. This has been a long time coming. So it's very, very exciting night for me, and they both start tomorrow. So,
Wonderful.
yay.
Well, we would love to do a council photo with you and our new judges
That'd
as
be
well.
fantastic. Here, I'll help with that.
Yeah. We're very excited to have you both on the team. Come on up. Excellent. Next, we have one resolution on this evening's agenda, a resolution R25-051, a resolution adopting the amended fee schedule for the waste hauling program pursuant to Chapter 90, Solid Waste of the Arvada City Code, and authorizing the Third Amendment to an agreement between the City of Arvada and Allied Waste Transportation, Inc., doing business as Republic Services of Denver for residential solid waste collection services, thereby increasing waste services fees. Ms. Jacqueline Rhodes, Director of Infrastructure, you have this item.
Thank you and good evening, Council. The resolution before you updates the fee schedule for the solid waste services provided by Republic Services, Republic, and for the services provided by the city effective July 1st, 2025. Section 90-35 Waste Services Fees of Arvada City Code requires that the City Council, by resolution, establish the fees to be imposed on all city residents to provide funding for city waste services. The resolution also amends the contract to extend to July 1st, 2028 to allow the minimum service, also known as the opt-out fee, charged by Republic to be held at the current amount of $4.55 per month through that date. The solid waste services fee schedule is being updated to reflect a price increase from Republic Services in accordance with our contract. The increase in fees is 3.5%. The solid waste services fee schedule is also being updated to reflect the increased costs of the services that the city provides to the program. The waste hauling program is an enterprise fund, which is defined as a government-owned business that receives revenue in return for providing a good or a service. The recommended city fees increases will allow the program to be fully funded by revenues received from customers who receive waste hauling program services. Customers will see an increase in their bills effective after July 1st, 2025. Starting sometime in 2026, the Producer Responsibility Organization, PRO, Circular Action Alliance, CAA, under House Bill 22-1355, Producer Responsibility Program for Recycling, will begin reimbursing municipalities for residential recycling collection, which will impact our Arvada ratepayers. The Arvada team and Republic Services are monitoring the implementation of this program, including how it will impact future pricing. There has been discussion in our recent waste program workshops regarding what is being done now to prepare for the program's implementation, and questions have been received. For example, does the contract require a separate unit cost for recycling services? Does the city anticipate paying the hauler for reimbursement, or reducing pricing to our residents, or providing a refund to our residents? Is the city able to reduce pricing under this resolution and amendment to the contract? As this was not specifically addressed in this resolution item report, I'd like to present these answers for your consideration. As to requiring the reporting of a separate recycling unit cost, the current contract and processing for customer billing information is on a total cost per customer basis and does not currently break out the price per home for recycling. A net recycling services cost based on a per unit basis, such as a ton, per household, or other unit cost, will be needed for the Producer Responsibility Program reimbursement process. But that reimbursement process is not yet finalized or approved. The Arvada team and Republic Services are monitoring the implementation of this program and how it's going to affect our service pricing. Additionally, the team is cautious about publishing recycling costs at this stage without clear implementation information that could cause confusion for our customers. We do not want to negatively impact the overall recycling participation efforts through our program. As to how the city anticipates the reimbursement process, we anticipate paying Republic Services for the reimbursement amount and reducing the pricing to our customers. However, again, this could change depending on the final CAA plan approval by CDPHE. Based on the current program timeline, reimbursements are not anticipated until late 2026. As to how future pricing adjustments can be addressed, it would be challenging to include contract language in the current amendment before you without fully understanding how the reimbursements will be handled prior to the CAA's plan being approved. And neither Republic Services nor the city of Arvada have a signed service agreement with the PRO CAA. Once there are more clarity surrounding the recycling collection reimbursements that will be managed and the draft plan has been approved for implementation, Republic Services has indicated they are committed to working with the city on contract language and rates to ensure that residents and the city will receive the full benefits of the Extended Producer Responsibility Program. The fee schedule can be amended through a resolution at that time. Based on the current implementation timeline for this program, likely June 2026. The purpose and intent of the current amendment is to approve Republic's proposal to hold the minimum service fee at the current rate, $4.55, adjust the city's program fees, and adjust other Republic service pricing by the maximum of 3.5% as demonstrated by Republic Services with the Water Sewer Trash Index. Customers will see changes on their bills beginning in July 1st, 2025, which include an overall increase ranging from 59 cents a month to 90 cents a month based off of your cart service size. This is known as the cart service fee. So those rates would in total be $9.34, $13.92, or $18.50, depending on your cart size. 35 gallons, 65 gallons, or 95 gallons respectively. An increase to a customer who lives in an HOA and receives the minimum program services will be increased by 19 cents a month. This is known as the city program fee, which will increase to a total of $1.69. An increase to a customer who does not live in an HOA and receives the minimum program services will see an increase of 19 cents a month. And this includes the city program fee that I just mentioned at $1.69, and no change to the minimum service fee of, for a total of $6.05. A decrease to a customer who has an extra trash cart or receives an extra trash cart fee, we're actually reducing that by 15 cents a month to make it consistent with the other cart replacement fees at 60 cents. And we're proposing a decrease to a customer who has an extra recycling cart and receives the extra recycling cart fee of 5 cents per month, again making that a consistent 60 cents per month for the cart replacement fee. There's no change to the enterprise fee, and the minimum service fee, again, will stay at the $4.55 through July 1st, 2028. The Arvada team plans to amend the contract consistent with House Bill 22-1355 and the Circular Action Alliance, or CAA, plan requirements once the program plan is approved by CDPHE for implementation. The current estimate for CDPHE approval is December 2025, followed by a 6-month implementation period, aligning with our next contract amendment period of July 2026. While council action is requested on the resolution adopting the amended fee schedule on tonight's resolution and extending the Republic Services contract term to hold the minimum service fee, future annual contract amendments for Republic Service pricing can incorporate the producer responsibility requirements. The Arvada team is proposing for council the following options. 1, approve the resolution adopting the amended waste and recycling service fees per the city's contract with Republic, adopting an increased alignment to the city's service fees and extending the contract to July 1st, 2028. Or 2, continue the resolution to June 17th, 2025, directing the team to negotiate language regarding the parties' intent to address the requirements of the producer responsibility program plan once finalized and adjust the pricing in the future to ensure that residents in the city receive the full benefits of the program. The Arvada team and Republic Services are available tonight to answer any additional questions that you may have.
I'll open it to council questions or action. Councilmember Marriott.
I have a question for, not sure who, whether this is Jacqueline, whether this is you or Rachel or legal team. When I review the contract and it's got an Exhibit B that specifies the pricing, and I just see one thing on there that may be an anomaly, maybe it was overlooked, or maybe it, I would hope it doesn't mean anything, but it talks about additional optional services. It says a roll-off for solid waste is $305.07, $305.07. But it doesn't specify anything about what a roll-off is or what size it is or anything like that. Now down below in the bulk program, it does describe for the same $305.07 that billed to the city that's a 30-yard roll-off. So am I to assume that what Exhibit B is saying is that as an individual, if I were to become a customer of the city's trash program, and I were to want a 30-yard roll-off, that Republic would provide that for $305.07? Or can they provide any size roll-off they want for $305.07, since there's nothing specified either in the contract or in Exhibit B?
Those are costs for our large item events and leaf recycling events. Those are internal costs, only part of our contract that we're required to have the large item events and also the leaf events. So they're internal only, not open to the public.
So I don't think that's what Exhibit B says, though. On Exhibit B, the pricing form, it talks about, the price for each of those things. And some of the things they talk about is like extra trash bags are $3.75 per tag.
So you are correct, the extra trash bags is open to the public.
So a roll-off's not part of this program to the public?
It is not.
Okay. So if you're a customer of the city's program and you want a roll-off, you just have to go out into the market and contract for it wherever you want, and it's not part of the city's program at all?
Correct.
Okay. And we're sure about that?
Positive.
Okay.
Okay. Councilmember Davis.
Okay, I'm confused. So on the first page, pricing form July 2025, additional optional services, roll-off dash solid waste, $305 $305.07. So I can't call the city and get a roll-off for $305.07, or a roll-off for green waste composted for $415.77. It seems like you have 4 items, like there are 4 items here that are additional optional services. But is that only for people participating in your program?
No, the roll-offs are strictly for our large item and also leaf events. They're not eligible to the customers. The customers would have to schedule their own roll-off with, could be Republic or whatever trash company they would like. And it's their own pricing structure, not ours.
Then I would suggest that you take off the roll-off for solid waste and the roll-off for green waste under the additional optional services category.
Okay, we do have to have a set cost for our events each
I
year,
understand
so-
that. You have that. Bulk program is not included in the pricing above, and then you list what the prices are for the roll-off. But the way that this is presented in writing, it looks like it's available to the folks who use your service.
Okay, and we see where the confusion is coming from in the pricing form. That is the form that I think was included in the original agreement and the one that we've been updated to match the pricing year by year. I see where you're pointing out the confusion. And so that's certainly something that we can clean up to make sure that there's no confusion between what is part of the bulk program and what is part of the additional services that city customers can take part in.
Yeah, because I was kind of excited about that roll-off sitch.
Okay. A quick follow-up on this. Was the ability to have a roll-off part of the original agreement when we passed this in 2020? I thought it was. No?
No, I think it's just confusing the way that the pricing form came in the original proposal documents, so we can clean that up.
Thank you. Councilmember Ambrose.
I just wanted to confirm that this roll-off fee is not available to the public because I called and tried to get it, because I have seen the contract before and I commented, I think it was 3 workshop sessions ago about the roll-off fees being extraordinarily cheap, available to customers, and nobody said anything then. And then I called and tried to get that from Republic, and they were like, no, you can't have that. And I think it is also confusing in Exhibit A, because in Exhibit A also just lists everything, and there's no differentiation between what is the price per city customer versus what is the price to the city.
Thank you for that. We can provide that clarification.
Okay. There are additional questions or comments from the council? There is seeing none. Councilmember Davis?
If we don't have any more discussion, I would suggest that we continue the resolution to the June 17th meeting so that staff have a chance to address our issues. Is that correct, Ms. Morris?
That's correct. So what you would need to do is make a motion to continue this agenda item to June 17th, and then the council would need to vote on it. It will then appear on the June 17th meeting under unfinished business.
All right. Councilmember Ambrose.
If we move it to the June 17th, will that affect our ability to renew the contract at the rate? Because part of the reason why we chose this at this specific time was to lock in the extraordinary low 3% inflation rate that was on the hauling fees. And so while we might be talking about how the roll-off isn't differentiated, we might lose that locked in against pricing against inflation, and then everything is going to go up way more. And so I don't want to risk that because of this last minute confusion.
No, you won't lose that ability. As long as we can get this amendment passed within the 17th, we'll be fine. We need all of the new pricing structure to be in effect for July 1st, which is when, under our contract, the new pricing is supposed to be in effect. So we'll still have time to address the concerns with the exhibits in time. I think what we really do need direction on is whether that's the only thing that you would like us to look at for the June 17th agenda, or if you are considering the 2 options that were presented by Ms. Rhodes. One is moving forward with just the contract amendment before you, which is intended to address the contractually agreed upon increases, annual increases, and also locks in the negotiated agreement between the city and Republic to leave the opt-out fee or our minimum user fee on Republic side the same, no increase this time around, and also no increase for the following years. That's part of the agreement we've reached. So we can leave that as is. The other option that we would need guidance on is whether at this point in time the council wants us to add anything in the amendment that addresses the extended producer responsibility act and program. The thing that I will say is if that's the direction from the city, we need to keep that very vague, because at this point we're not sure what the final plan is going to look like. As Ms. Rhodes indicated, the Circular Action Alliance, who is the producer responsibility organization responsible for developing and implementing the program plan for managing covered protected products, they've submitted their draft plan or their plan to CDPHE for review. That's not approved yet, and so there's nothing specific that we could include in the contract about that. We anticipate it being approved, as Ms. Rhodes said, by the end of the year, December of 2025, but then it will take several months for it to be implemented. Additionally, participation in the program requires us to agree to participate in the program. We're not there yet. We haven't signed anything committing the city to participate in the program. Given the communications from City Council, it appears that that is the intent for us to participate in the program so that we are eligible for that reimbursement, so that the recycling fees, however it's structured, are covered by the producers. But we're just not at that stage yet, and so we're not in a position to start breaking down by unit or by household exact recycling costs until we have a better idea of what this would look like. So any contract amendment would probably be limited to just saying our intent to do this in the future. So that is the second thing that we would need guidance on addressing on June.
Thank you. Councilmember Davis.
Councilmember Ambrose, did you have something else you wanted to say?
I was going to respond to the question.
Please go ahead.
I was just going to say that I don't need to delay it. I think public or our commentary enough is to explanation on what the exhibit's for. I don't need the exhibits to come back to specifically say what is public, what's not. The contract is the contract from my point of view. But I also know that Councilmember Mormon is the one who wrote in, who's not here tonight, with the concern about the reimbursement, and I felt like that issue had been resolved. So I don't think we need to have those vague terms that will eventually adopt a law that could pass, that we have to so many different steps that have to go in there. I feel Councilmember Mormon had his issues addressed with our legal team and our city manager before tonight's meeting. But he's not here to say that. So I don't think that, I can't speak for the rest of council, but I don't think we need to make that adjustment for the reimbursement fees. I think I'm fine with just going ahead and approving this fee schedule as it is, or on June 17th, I guess, if that's what the majority of council chooses, to just make sure that there is clarity in the exhibits about what is a public rate and what is a internal city rate.
Councilmember Davis.
I'm going to make a motion and then we can have a discussion. I'd like to move that I'd like to make a motion that this issue be set aside until June 17th, so that to give staff time to make the correction to the exhibit, and also that'll allow Mr. Mormon to weigh in as well.
Councilmember Marriott.
So I'm going to be in support of Ms. Davis's motion. I think, I can completely understand the pricing within this contract, that these are the prices to the city and not to the citizens. However, I have sat here for a couple of years and had certain people, or several people, extol the virtues of this program, being that you can get a roll-off really cheap if you participate in the city's program as an incentive to do that. And I think if this is absolute clarity on that that's not included, I think that's fine. I don't have any problem with that part, but I do think it's probably good if the contract were to reflect accurately what we're doing, so that if us on council up here were clearly confused about it, because some of us have advocated different ways on that, and with no definitive resolution, if we were confused about it, certainly the public is as well. So I think anything we can do to clarify that would be good, and I don't see any harm in waiting till the 17th on approving this contract, as Ms. Morales stated, that there's nothing negative to that. As far as to the question about the Producers Responsibility Act, I wouldn't advocate for putting anything in this contract for it. I think it's just flat too early. They clearly don't even know what they're going to do yet, how much it's going to be, what it's going to look like, how it's going to be sussed out. I think we're a year ahead on that, and when the time comes, I expect Republic to act in good faith, and the city to be able to work with their contractor to come up with the appropriate mechanism for giving that money back to the citizens who were taxed it or tariffed it in the goods that they bought, and would have that coming back somehow, whether it be from a lower future price with Republic, or a lower future price on the city's fee, or a rebate or a refund, or whatever, however it comes. But I wouldn't put anything in the contract. I think I'm fine with it the way it is, but I would suggest we clarify the roll-off thing and pass this in 2 weeks.
All right. See no other lights. I will note that I will be supporting Ms. Davis's amendment. I simply want to see the clarification done in the contract. I agree with my colleagues. If we were confused, goodness knows, the general public could be very easily confused. So simple clarification, we can codify that in a more clear way. And then in addition, I like the idea of us being able to include some sort of very vague, as you noted, just sort of note that that's going to be coming in the future. But to Republic, because I know we have representatives of theirs in the audience, I agree. We know you will act in great faith on this. You have for many years. You've been an excellent partner to the city, and I don't foresee that changing. So with that, I'll call the vote. All right. This is to delay until June 17th, and that passes 4-1 with Councilmember Ambrose be a dissenting vote, Councilmember Pfeiffer and Mayor Pro Tem Morning being excused absences. Mormon, not Morning. All right. Next, we have first reading. Councilmember Davis has volunteered in Mayor Pro Tem Mormon's stead.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that CB 25012, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of certain property along Pierce Street, generally from West 60th Avenue to West 64th Avenue, for the construction of street, sidewalk, utility, drainage, and other related improvements as part of the Pierce Street Sidewalk Project number 19-ST-20, be approved on first reading, ordered, published in full, and a public hearing date to be set for June 17th, 2025 at 6:15 p.m.
That passes 5-0 with Councilmember Pfeiffer and Mayor Pro Tem Mormon being excused absences. Next, we have our appointments to boards and commissions. If I have a council member who's ready to volunteer to make a motion there. Councilmember Ambrose.
I move to appoint Jeffrey Colbank to an unexpired term ending April 30th, 2027. Do you want me to make all these appointments in the motion?
Ms. Morris, would you prefer them to be separate? I think so.
Yes, if we could. Theoretically, you should be free to vote yes or no on each individual. I'm okay if you do it by board as well, because that does it puts it down to a smaller group, but it's best to do it by individual.
Okay, so move to appoint Jeffrey Colbank to an unexpired term ending April 30th, 2027 for the Arts and Culture Commission.
All right, all votes will cast. That passes 5-0 with Mayor Pro Tem Mormon and Councilmember Pfeiffer being excused absences.
And then I move to appoint Jake Victor to an unexpired term ending April 30th, 2027 for the Housing Advisory Committee.
That passes 5-0 with Councilmember Pfeiffer and Mayor Pro Tem Mormon being excused absences.
I move to appoint Peter Kazura to an unexpired term ending April 30th, 2027 to the Housing Advisory Committee.
That passes 5-0 with Councilmember Pfeiffer and Mayor Pro Tem Mormon being excused absences. And that's it. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I accidentally left a couple of my sheets in the office, so I appreciate you handling that one. All right. Next I will open the public hearing portion of this evening's agenda, and that is CB 25-011, an ordinance revising the City of Arvada policy for the adoption of the intergovernmental agreements, ordinance number 4897. Presenter, Mr. Jacks.
Good evening, Mayor Simpson and members of council. This ordinance will revise the city's policy for the adoption of intergovernmental agreements. Both state statute and the city charter authorize council to enter into these agreements with other governmental entities for any lawful purpose. And back in 2012, the council, as required by the charter, adopted a policy for the adoption of IGAs, intergovernmental agreements. As you know, city policies are subject to review and improvements over time. And what we have done here is to make the process more efficient in certain ways. For one, now an IGA that will take more than 5 years or cost more than $5 million to implement will go by resolution. With all remaining IGAs to be adopted on the consent agenda by resolution with certain exceptions. And those exceptions are designed to improve the process, particularly for IGAs that are small expenditures, are merely in place to facilitate cooperation between the city and other entities. Those specific exceptions are as follows: that an IGA that involves a exchange of consideration of no more than $10,000 or that is only to facilitate cooperation may be executed by a department director. An IGA that actually provides grant funding to the city from another governmental entity may be approved under the city's existing contract approval authorities under Chapter 82. And then an amendment of an IGA that simply extends its duration or makes minor modifications, corrects errors, etc., can also be approved by a director. These changes are primarily aimed at avoiding the situation where, as council knows, I've come to you in the past with, say, an agreement for us to use the State Patrol driving track to get an officer certified to the tune of $800, rather than having council see these very de minimis agreements, although they are intergovernmental agreements by definition because they're between the city and the State Patrol, for instance, as another governmental entity. The policy still provides that IGA can be removed from the consent agenda, brought up to the resolution agenda at the direction of council or the city manager if there's something that is particularly controversial or might need more public comment. That is in place. I will also mention at first reading on public comment, we did have a speaker who was concerned about the fact there was no red line included with the ordinance. I wanted to make council aware the reason for that is the original policy was codified in a way that there was no published city council policy manual prior to that time. And when the council manual followed approximately 1 year later, the way it was codified there was to merely lay a copy of the ordinance into the policy manual. So there was essentially nothing to redline. If I would have done that, you would have just seen one continuous redline document. So that's the reason that was not done at that time. And we now have I will call it a clean and appropriate city council policy for IGAs. Happy to take any questions, and I know there'll be public comment.
Perfect. I know we have a few public comments signed up this evening, so I'll begin just with confirming. Ms. Donna Raymond, you have noted you are for the issue, but that you do not wish to speak. Is that correct? Or maybe she has gone. Next, we have Linda Martin, who has also gone. Lynn Clemens, I do see you. Come on down.
Lynn Clemens, and I'm at 6202 Kilmer Loop, Unit 102, Arvada. Thank you for letting me share my comments. We've had some of these answered, but I still am concerned about the adoption of CB 25011, revising the policy for the IGAs. My concern about the process is that basically no documentation was provided in the information to the public, where we're going to see the efficiency of the city operations. And the fact that there was no red line copy, the original copy could have been given to the council so that you could compare the two documents. I think there's some major changes being proposed in the new policy. In the paperwork that is provided to you, there is no ordinance number, and my question to you on that is, how will the public be able to find this in the future? And also in the paperwork that was provided with the council bill, it says there's an attachment to that bill, but no attachment is provided in your documentation, so I'm a little curious about that. There was some process wording that I was concerned about, and that was that the summary that was given to the council from the staff said that the proposed policy, and I quote, leaves in place the requirement that certain IGAs be adopted by ordinance. And that was in the information that was in the summary to you from the staff. And those included the first two items, that it is a duration for more than 5 years, or its implementation requires funding of more than $5 million. So basically, this is a big difference. You're changing these being adopted by ordinance versus being adopted by resolution. And I feel that is a change. And is it the summary that was right, or is what is written in the process correct now? Some of the other concerns that I have in the new policy is the omission of an ordinance adoption if the IGA establishes new or extraordinary legal liabilities for the city. That has been left off of the new policy. Allowing the IGA to be on the consent agenda where there is no discussion is a major change from the policy from 2012. If IGA is removed from the consent agenda at a meeting, as was noticed, how will the public be notified? They will have to be in the room to speak to the IGA at that meeting unless a provision is made in advance for advance notice to the public. How is the public supposed to know you're going to take something off the consent agenda? And then you're allowing a director to execute or approve changes. Will the public be notified of this decision? There's a big difference between ordinances and resolutions. That is public notice, public hearings, permanency, and legal ramifications. If IGAs are to provide governmental services to the public, why would there be less public involvement and notice when the City Council is adopting the IGAs? For these reasons, I ask that you not adopt the CB 25-011 at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Mike Rawlick.
Good evening again, Council. Hey, Mayor, thanks for listening to me speak about this as well. I just found out about this today, so echoing what Lynn said, I was really impressed as a citizen of Jeffco, but part of RVC, when you guys decided the call-up provision was a really good idea. So if the director made a administrative decision that was a hot-button issue, then citizens can come before one of the council members. You could talk about it amongst yourselves at one of your business meetings and decide if 4 council members thought it should be raised up to be voted on in a city council. That was a move towards representative government. It's a good thing. People elect you, and they want your opinion, and they want your vote on things. Here we go towards director discretion on several items, as was pointed out. Minor modifications, okay, maybe, but it probably still should be heard by city council. Or the duration of, there's no time limit on that duration. What if it's an unpopular IGA? What if it's with some other municipality that there are some issues with, I don't know, maybe it could be about Jefferson Byway or something, hot button like that. We can simply extend the duration of, but for how long? There's no sunset clause on that. It's not 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. It just says it simply extend. So simply is not that simple as far as that goes. Language is very important. Words matter. And then monetary considerations between parties of no more than $10,000. Okay, maybe, but still probably a good idea for you all to hear what's going on. $800, as we heard, that's a pretty small amount. Or that is only for cooperation of parties working towards a mutual goal. Well, what's that mutual goal? That might need to be heard as well in the public forum. And then we have the resolution versus the ordinance situation that Lynn mentioned. And I looked at the city code of ordinances, and it is kind of interesting. In the code of ordinances, you have resolutions mixed in with ordinances. And unfortunately, I'll bring this one up, ordinance number R25044 is literally called a resolution authorizing an employment agreement. So it's an ordinance and a resolution at the same time. 25043 ordinance is also a resolution, but some actually just say resolution and they're a resolution. So on the website itself, it's very unclear if there is an actual difference between ordinance and resolution. Language is changing for this, might need to get sorted out, because right here on the code of ordinances, like I said, you get resolution, 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 but it's in the code of ordinances, and that ordinance right there is actually a resolution. So that's a little concerning as well. Lynn did bring up the extraordinary legal liabilities for the city, but I also think it's interesting that the significantly different responsibilities for any employee or work unit of the city is being left off as well. So an employee might get a different job description. Now that might be for the director or consent agenda, or a work unit. So maybe a parks department or what have you might change something, but that is not going to be heard by you as well. So probably need some more discussion on this. And also, when Lynn talked about advance notification, it might be a nice idea for at least HOAs to know that this kind of thing is coming, so they can come, if they so choose, and remove something from the consent agenda. But without warning, without notice, we just going to all not really know what's going on. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the chambers who would like to give public comment on this item at this time? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of this hearing and open it to council questions or action. Seeing no questions, I would like to offer an opportunity to the staff to address some of the points we've heard, the difference between ordinance, resolution. Mr. Jack's already addressed a little bit the opportunity for us to sort of call up, or would it be maybe call down something off of the consent agenda?
Yes, I think you could frame it either way, Mayor, and I see Ms. Morris looking at me, so I'm going to take a crack at a couple other things she may want to weigh in as well. I appreciate Ms. Clemens' eagle eye, because frankly, the mention of adoption by ordinance in the report to council is an error on my part from a previous draft. We had discussed that initially, keeping it as it was. However, we felt resolution was more appropriate for a couple of reasons. That we felt that the publication requirements would still give proper notice, that there would be an opportunity for comment, but also that it would streamline the process, and the language about extraordinary legal liabilities and what have you, we felt were ambiguous and frankly had been difficult to quantify over time. What is extraordinary? What legal liabilities are we talking about? We felt that the more than 5 years to perform and the $5 million number were at least concrete, that we know what those things would be. Other than that, the other items, the other issues that were brought forward, just be aware, we did not pick the $10,000 threshold arbitrarily. That is in alignment with the city's existing finance standards for a department head or a city department to make a purchase with no more than one bid. That was why we settled on that particular number. Similarly, we felt the thresholds for approvals on grants were appropriate to align with the city's existing contract approval authorities. And I'll defer to Ms. Morris if she has any other comments.
I just had a couple more things just to try to address some of the things that Ms. Clemens and Mr. Rawlick brought up. So council policies are available online. I know Ms. Clemens had mentioned that, and that's a valid concern, wanting to make sure that the public has access to this policy. So I'm absolutely happy to connect with Ms. Clemens afterwards and make sure that she understands where that is and will be able to locate it. So if something is on the consent agenda, and this really goes for any item that we have on the consent agenda, if a member of the public would like to speak towards that, they can come to the 3-minute limit and they can make public comment there. And so if a member of the public would like council to remove something from the consent agenda, they can come to that 3-minute limit and express some opinions there. And then if it was removed, they would have, there would be an opportunity for others to come and comment on it. I just also want to say that I am extremely excited that we had 2 people come here today talking about intergovernmental agreements. We do this, my department does this all the time. I have never seen any other member of the public come up and make comment on IGAs. And so I'm excited about this. I think you guys should come up, and make comments. So I think that should continue, but that's the way you would do it. I think there was one other issue about resolutions and ordinances that Mr. Rawlick mentioned, and I think this is a good point. I need to go look at Muni Code, which is where our resolutions and ordinances are published for public access. So there may be some confusion when we send our resolutions that they get caught, or they get labeled as an ordinance when they are a resolution. But the main difference between the two is that for a resolution, typically there's no public hearing. And they're noticed to the public. So the previous Friday, we publish our agenda. That's when you would find out about a resolution that's going to be on the consent agenda or whatever. For an ordinance, it has first reading, and then on second reading, we have that public hearing. So those are the main differences between the two. We had come up on issues in the past too, in addition to what Mr. Jacks mentioned. Timing can sometimes be an issue. So when you have to get multiple government entities together to agree on terms, it can take a really long time to do that. And so when we're ready to adopt those agreements, there can be timing-related concerns. And also, going back to what Mr. Jacks said related to ordinances and the legal liabilities, and I'll just echo what he had said. When we're talking about extraordinary legal liabilities, in my department, we always kind of felt like we were guessing as to what that meant or what it didn't mean. So we saved the objective measures, the $5 million and the 5 years, and then we took out the more subjective measures so that it would be clear when we needed to do what with IGAs, so that we weren't creating room for argument about when we're complying with the policy versus when we weren't. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any thoughts or additional questions from council? Otherwise, I will accept a motion. Councilmember Ambrose.
I'll make the motion.
I see no other lights.
I move that CB 25-011, an ordinance revising the City of Arvada policy for the adoption of intergovernmental agreements be approved on final reading, numbered 4897, and ordered published in full. And I have some comments.
Well, please go ahead.
I support this ordinance because I think that our city team does a great job, and these are some good guardrails on, just making the government more efficient and being able to, when entering complex IGA agreements that take a long, long time. You look at government now. We are facing state policies on affordable housing, and now it seems like the affordable housing crisis might be passing. It's taken 10 years to be able to respond to that, and that's because of complex things like these intergovernmental agreements of being able to go to other city governments, to state governments, and be able to respond nimbly to these kinds of things. And I do think there is enough transparency to the public and to council to be able to see things, to be able to call things up. And so that's why I am in support of this way to make sure that we are addressing the big issues on council with still full visibility into everything the city government is doing.
Thank you. Councilmember Marriott.
Thank you. I'll also be voting yes on this. I think this strikes a good balance between, making government work a little bit more nimbly, but also have some limitations to it. for me, a $10,000 agreement is a lot and really gets my attention, but on the scale that the city operates on, $10,000 happens quite often, and this policy is only for IGAs that have a total value of $10,000 or less. And, we up here approve lots of IGAs that include no money at all, and they're something we have to do, but I don't think it's any reason we have to do it in that forum. And so this will allow these IGAs to continue to get approved, but approved in a little more streamlined way. And so for that reason, I'm all for it. And for those who spoke on this, I have asked to take things off consent agenda items before a number of times. I might be the only one up here who ever has, but I have done it a number of times, and I've always been successful doing it. And I would encourage members of the public who see something on a consent agenda, that whether it's an IGA or other, prior to a council meeting, to contact whoever you know on council and ask them to remove it if you'd like to see it that way. And I think this council has operated very fairly, very well doing that, and I don't see anything that would change that. And so for that reason, I'm very comfortable with the ability for this to be in this form.
Thank you. Councilmember Rupert.
I'll be voting in favor of this. Reasoning is, one, we really do need the efficiencies. We have to have the ability to approve administratively the small contracts, the contracts that don't have dollar amounts attached. It takes an enormous amount of time to prepare for these things, bring them to meetings, set aside procedures. And on the other hand, when something does come up and someone wants us to pay closer attention, there are opportunities to take things off consent agenda. In this or any other body, I've never had or witnessed any problem taking something off of the consent agenda for further discussion. And the opportunity for that is here as well. So I'll be voting for it.
Thank you. I just want to note a quick note of commendation, Ms. Morris, to you and your team. First, thank you for the sort of quick rally and explanation. It was extremely helpful, not only for this body, but for the members of the public, especially those watching at home who may not know some of these quirkier differences, resolutions versus hearings versus ordinances, et cetera. So thank you so much for that. I know legal is probably one of the more unsung city departments, simply because, well, what you do is it's very nerdy, I will say. It's very dry, but we can't run without you. You were involved in every single aspect of this city, and so just thank you for all your hard work. And yes, to our public members, it is rare to see members of the public testify at any hearing, let alone a wonky one like this. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for being the involved citizens that you are. We really sincerely appreciate it. And Ms. Clemens, thank you for catching a typo. Cheers. All right, with that, I will show the vote. Councilmember Rupert, if you could cast. There we go. That passes 5-0 with Councilmember Pfeiffer and Mayor Pro Tem Mormon being excused absences. All right, with that, we move into the public comment 5-minute limit. Ms. Hallisey, do you wish to use your reserved 5 minutes? Gina? Would it have to be on something not on the agenda or on the agenda? No, it has to be something you didn't talk about before. So what you spoke about at the 3-minute you can't do, but you can talk about anything else. All right, I'll give you 2 minutes. Thank you for your generosity in giving us some back.
And I'm doing this for Rachel's benefit. And I had to step out because I had to talk to the trash people. So be hearing about that later. Yeah, I won't go into that now. Well, you can hear about that later. But when looking at the intergovernmental agreements, these IGAs as referenced, just this is for my benefit and the benefit, and you probably answered this when I was talking to the trash people. It would be great if council or staff, if you can't respond, could explain to the community the difference between a consent agenda and a regular agenda and what each allows for community input. So if I heard it right, consent agendas don't have community input? Or do they have community input? If you could just answer that for me.
Well, we typically don't in comment, but I can do this really quick just because I want to make sure that we're doing the education piece here. But yeah, things that are on the consent agenda are adopted in a list instead of discussing them individually. So there wouldn't be public comment associated with any resolutions on the consent agenda. There typically isn't, we don't call for public comment on resolutions off the consent agenda unless it's an IGA. So the IGAs have that additional public comment component.
So if there's something on the consent agenda, I can come and say I would, as a citizen, I would love for this to be on the regular agenda so I can have input. Is that correct?
Correct. If it's an IGA, yes.
Only on an IGA?
Correct.
On anything on the consent agenda?
You can have it pulled off the consent agenda so that council can talk about it, but we don't take public comment on like if it was between an agreement between the city and a private entity, we wouldn't take public comment on it.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So exciting.
And though we never respond to public comment, in the interest of the public education piece, if there is an item like a resolution or a consent agenda you would like to give public comment on, you may do so at the 3-minute limit. It says it's for items not scheduled on the agenda. However, since those items do not have their own public comment portion like a hearing does, you can throw it in the 3-minute, which does come before the consent agenda. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to do 5-minute public comment at this time in chambers? No, but this has been a really fun civics lesson evening. I've actually quite enjoyed it myself. So I will close the 5-minute public comment as well as our public hearings for this evening. I will turn it over to City Council for committee and event reports. Councilmember Ambrose.
Thank you, Mayor Simpson. I just wanted to update on the Jeffco Regional Forum on Homelessness on some statistics and data about what happened for public education. So it was very interesting to hear about all the things that the county is doing to work on homelessness. They spend about $3 million a year for eviction prevention, Jeffco does. They also spend $3.5 million a year on permanent housing support. They spend about $660,000 on family homelessness at the White Swan Family Shelter, and also supporting the Evergreen Shelter. So there is a lot that the county is doing, and the need is very, everybody knows how bad the need is, and seeing the homelessness and the increase of it. One of the things they talked about in Jeffco is that while the median rent in across Denver metro area has gone down by $60, it's doubled in Jeffco during the same period. So Jefferson County has a lot higher median rent than even the surrounding metro area, and they also shared some statistics from Jefferson County from the point-in-time count, which shows a 243% increase in unsheltered homelessness and a 620% increase in respondents identifying as newly homeless. That is over the year before. And the top reason why people are becoming homeless is because of the inability to pay rent and mortgage. According to the HMIS system, 2,358 individuals accessed homelessness-related services within Jefferson County in 2024, and we are seeing homeless numbers that surpass pre-COVID numbers. So the need for our municipalities to come together for a regional solution is really dire, and there was good progress in different municipalities who came to the forum to talk with the county about all being willing to do something, especially about the severe weather shelter issue, to make sure that there is an open severe weather shelter for the 300 to 400 people who need severe weather shelter services that's going to be coming up this winter. So just wanted to share some facts and information that we got from the county at that forum. A couple of other things. I meet with people on Fridays, on the fourth Friday. I'm going to suspend that for the summer because I'm traveling a bunch, but I'm still available by appointment if you want to reach out to me. And I also have a weekly newsletter, so if folks are interested in that, you can email me, and I'm happy to have you sign up for the newsletter.
Okay. Great. I will make a few notes. We have a very, very busy Saturday coming up ahead. We talked a lot about roll-offs, which was very prescient because Saturday morning is going to be the bulky item drop-off event. Ms. Rhodes, that one is out at the, where is it? The way out on the northwest side. What's it called again?
North Athletic Complex.
The NAC. Yeah. Thank you, the NAC. I kept trying to think the MAC in my head, but I'm like, that's Westminster, that's wrong. So the NAC, thank you. Up at the NAC, so this is your opportunity to get rid of your old chairs, your old couches, mattresses, we accept those as well. The one thing we don't accept is things with Freon. So please do, or old paint, correct? We don't take that either. Toxic chemicals. So nothing toxic. So don't bring your refrigerators or your old paint, but otherwise bring all your old junk items. This is your opportunity to take advantage of that and not have to pay the prices to have them hauled away. So that's item number one. Item number two is we have Summerfest with Arvada Festivals. So this is our brand new city tradition for the summertime. It's going to be out at the Ralston Park Annex, which is the park right in front of Arvada High School, A West, not Arvada High, Arvada West High on 64th. And finally, we have the Arvada Powwow. This one is the one by Arvada High. It's in the Sculpture Garden open space right by the Arvada Center. That begins at 10 a.m. with the main ceremony being at noon. That will be held, hosted by our Native American brothers and sisters from regional tribes. It is the first official powwow for Arvada, and we are very excited. So I hope to see you at all three this coming Saturday. It's going to be a busy one, but whatever you're into, we've got something for you. So with that, Mr. Wick, do you have any items for it?
Thank you for sharing the events this weekend. I won't recover those, but I do want to let you know that next week we have a workshop on the 10-year model. So
Okay.
we'll look forward to that. Thank you.
Ms. Morris?
Nothing for me, Your Honor.
All right, with that, we stand adjourned.